Hello, friends and family. And you know what? Maybe hello to you, first time watcher. Welcome to the show here. Do not mind the blinds in the background. We're going to get those squared away here in the content castle. Anyways, we're here to talk about the upcoming race, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We have been gone for a couple weeks, and let me tell you, a lot has gone down. So, what did we miss? Great question. We missed our man Gunther, the Haas team principal. He put out a book cleverly named Surviving to Drive. I think it maybe chronicled his experience through maybe the 2020 season, 2021 season. I have not read it yet personally, and I don't know if I will. We'll see. So Gunther put out a book. Our man Nico Hulkenberg, he ran what was called on Instagram a mini marathon, aka he ran 9 kilometers, which is roughly 5 miles. So I wouldn't say that's close to a marathon. Maybe it's less than a fifth of a marathon. But good job to you, Nico. He ran it in 35 minutes. So, I mean, he was actually putting together a pretty decent pace, 7-minute miles. Good for you. We had Leclerc. Oh, my God. Poor guy. Can't catch a break. His address got leaked. So he had a bunch of randos hanging out at his house. He had to put up a message on Instagram asking people to leave him the hell alone. He did it nicely though. And last but not least, also Leclerc. I mean, this guy is busy with his time off from racing. He announced that he's going to be dropping his first music single. All we have so far is a title. I think it's AUS 23 maybe. Maybe that stands for Australia 23. Maybe he put together a little track while he had all that time on his hands because he had to leave the race early. So our man Leclerc, he is busy not racing. You know, right now he is sitting in 10th place overall. He only has 6 overall points, so he's not really doing that well at what his real job is. Lando has more points than him. Lando's on what could be called the worst team, and Hulkenberg, the speedy long-distance runner Hulkenberg, is also in front of Leclerc right now. So I know there's a bunch of Ferrari fans out here, a bunch of Leclerc fans out here, so I won't ruffle your feathers too much, but our man Leclerc seems like he is maybe more worried about being an influencer than he is worried about racing. I mean, we can take a quick look right now. It looks like right after the race, he said, I didn't do a good job. And then he is modeling his new line of clothes, maybe. He's doing some modeling work. Then it looks like he is hanging out back in Monaco, watching tennis, chilling with the boys, not worried about racing. Last but not least, looks like he's here just maybe chilling with someone who owns a yacht, doing some more fashion things. So, I don't know. If I had Leclerc on my fantasy team, I would try to get rid of him because he doesn't seem like he has his head in the game. He's more worried right now about his Instagram followers, I think. I mean, he might as well be a Jenner at this point. But anyways, let's take a look at the upcoming race in Azerbaijan. I don't think anyone's really here just to talk about the race and all the different turns and the DRS zones, because if you were here for that, I'm not your guy because I don't really know much about it. I can tell you that it's happened they've had 5 races here And there's only been 2 teams who have won a race. Red Bull has won this race 3 times, and Mercedes has won it twice. So that might happen again. We'll see. This is our first sprint weekend, though, of the season, so that's going to work. Friday, we're going to have qualifying for the race on Sunday. So Friday is essentially going to act like what Saturdays usually are. So qualifying for the race on Sunday. That'll be Friday. Then on Saturday, like, essentially is like its own separate race. So we're going to have, it's going to be a sprint race on Saturday. So what will happen is there'll be qualifying for the sprint race as well. And I think it's called like a shootout sprint is what they're calling it. But pretty much how the qualifying is going to work on Saturday is they're still going to do like the 3 rounds of qualifying. The first round is going to be, they're all going to be shortened amounts of time. So like the first round, I think it's like 12 minutes. The second round is only 8 minutes, and the last round's like 6 minutes. So essentially these teams are only going to have a chance to do like 1 fast lap or 2 fast laps. So it'll go kind of quicker. And then after that, like quick qualifying is done on Saturday, then they'll have that sprint race, which is 21 laps. Then Sunday, we'll revert back to the way people qualified on Friday. So hopefully that makes some sense. It's a little tricky. It's not what I initially thought, hence why I am recording this, as you can tell, a different time of day. But I wanted to make sure I got it right for you guys. I don't know. That's all I got as far as the race goes. Preview-wise, let's take a look at my podium picks for this coming up weekend. I am going with 3rd place, Hamilton, who has won this race before. 2nd place, I'm going with the Ferrari. Can you guess who it is? It is not Leclerc. It is Carlos Sainz. I'm picking him for 2nd place. He had a tough one last race in Australia. I think he's going to bounce back well here. And obviously, I'm putting our man Verstappen, Maxi V, up there in the top spot. Those are my picks. I'm 0 for 1 so far. Maybe this will be the race that I cash in. Now, let us go over to one of our new segments, Sargeant Surveillance. Now, Sargeant Surveillance is what we're going to do here is we're going to just see what our American dude is up to. This Williams racer is one of 2 racers who has not scored any points yet. Him and Nick DeVries have not scored a single point yet. Who will get that point first? Our man Sargeant looks like in the first race of the season, he finished 12th, so he was dancing around it. Saudi Arabia, he bounced back to 16th, and then Australia, he was hanging in there till the end, and then he didn't finish. So he is trending the wrong direction. But, you know, maybe his head's in the game. So let's take a look at the Sargeant socials. Let's see what our man Sargeant has been up to. All right, looks like he was in New York for the first time. There's no way. He was in New York for the first time at the Brooklyn Nets game. Not a good sign. The Nets have been eliminated from the NBA playoffs. They got swept, I'm pretty sure. So hopefully he was not taking notes from those dudes. Then we see our man just doing the same thing Leclerc is doing. He's taking the cheesy photos by the Brooklyn Bridge. His head's not in the game at all here. And then, wow, okay. Then we have him going to Sbarro. He's getting a slice of pizza from Sbarro in New York City and eating it for the camera and acting the fool. So things do not look good for us and our American friend for this week in Azerbaijan. Who knows? Maybe he'll have his head in the game, but I don't know. I mean, let's take a look at what Nick DeVries was doing. I mean, maybe Nick DeVries was doing photo shoots and eating whatever his people eat. Okay, so it looks like he was hanging out with a legend of the game, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, at the AC Milan game. Okay, taking notes from a true great. That's a good sign, I think. And then, okay, he's watching some tennis, hanging out with Tsitsipas, who is a pretty good tennis player in his own right. So it looks like Nick DeVries is doing the right things. He's taking some notes from some former champions. Unlike our man Logan Sargeant, who's just going to Nets games in bougie Louis Vuitton sweatshirts and then modeling under the Brooklyn Bridge. I don't know. He's got to lock in. He's got to get his head in the game. Now it is time for a little bit of fantasy talk. We're talking about the league. Send it 3. One thing I wanted to touch base on really quick that I haven't talked about yet is the chips. Some of you guys have used the chips or one of your chips already. And what I'm talking about when I say chips are not potato chips or poker chips. It is the chips that you can play in Fantasy Formula 1. So there are 6 of these chips, and I'll run through them really quick and what they are, maybe a good time to use them. We have the wild card chip, which means that you can have unlimited substitutions to your team during the week before the game. This would be good if your team sucks. Maybe you're like Team Gastown and you're sitting at the very bottom of the league and you gotta get some good players on your team. This would be a good one to use. I don't think it increases your budget at all, but it still gives the opportunity to start from scratch without getting any penalties. That's the wild card chip. Then we have the limitless chip, which is a little bit similar to the wild card, but it only lasts 1 week. This is when you have unlimited budget and unlimited subs. So you could just load up your team with all the Red Bulls and then have the Aston Martins and Mercedes and Ferrari. You can have all of the big guns on your team. You got no budget, no limit on amount of substitutions. So this could be good if you're like, I'm going to make a big move this week. I'm going limitless. Then we have the no negative chip. This means you can put this on a driver, and that way, if they don't finish the race or they get negative points, it will make it so they don't have any negative points. So this one could be good if you have Charles Leclerc. I mean, he is the king of getting negative points. I would slap this on him every week, but you can only play it once, unfortunately. We have the final fix chip. This is one where you can make one sub after qualifying. So say you have, say you're smart and you have Verstappen on your team and for some reason he crashes and he's not going to be able to race the next day, you would be able to sub him out if you played this final fix chip. You can play the chip after qualifying. So if you didn't play it to start, well, you can't actually play it to start. You have to play it after qualifying. Hopefully that makes sense. We have the autopilot chip. This is where you play this before the race starts and you put your 2x DRS on, say, Verstappen, and maybe he doesn't do as well as another driver. It'll automatically switch that 2x DRS to the driver that did better. Last but not least, we have the 3x DRS. Some of you guys have used this already and it has helped you out immensely. This is where you're able to just triple the points of one of your drivers and you will still have that regular 2 times DRS where you have to put that on a different driver. So you'll have a driver with a 3x DRS and a driver with a 2x DRS. So hopefully that makes sense. Use them whenever you want. You can only use them once. And just don't forget. I know in past seasons people have forgotten about this stuff. So don't want you to forget. All right, so now that we have the chips out of the way, let's talk about where we sit after 3 races this season. So quick recap, we have that one competition going on where whoever wins the most Grand Prix during the season will win a cash prize. So right now we have race highlights, who has won the first Grand Prix of the season in Bahrain. We have Reese Bobby, who took home the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix title, and then our last winner was Maxi V taking home the Australian Grand Prix title. So right now those 3 teams are the front runners. We'll see what happens. A lot of races left to go. This week could be a new winner, hopefully. So those are the people who have won previous Grand Prix. Let's take a look at just the overall standings. I won't go through everybody. You know where to look at them. But let's take a look at our bottom 5 and our top 5. So, without further ado, our bottom 5 players. We have Drive Fast, Turn Left, 19th place right now. Hang in there. Reese Bobby, who has won a Grand Prix, is down to 20th. Then we have, in 21st, we have Redeem Team 23, who needs to redeem himself big time. And then way at the bottom of the pack, we have 2 teams. We have Team Gastown in 22nd place, and the league favorite, Turtle in the Hair, doing the turtle thing right now. Need to do more of a hair thing. All right, so that is your bottom 5. Let's look at our top 5. Starting from 5th place, we have, well, first of all these teams are within like 7 points of each other. So things are very contentious at the top. We have No Mikey No _ in 5th place. Tied for 3rd, we have Race Highlights and I Better Call Gene. And tied for 1st place, we have Chuzzy Supreme and yours truly, Bones Racing LLC, up in the top spots. So those are the teams you're gunning for this week. Maybe take a peek at what they've done in the past and see if you can emulate their teams, or if you're confident in what you got going on, do your thing. All right, so let's take a look at what the Bones Challenge is this week. So we got, first question is going to be, which of these drivers will score 0 points? So there's going to be more than one right answer here. Hopefully you guys can pick a racer that is going to get 0 points. Maybe Charles Leclerc. He could be a good one to pick. I don't know. Second question is going to be, which of these drivers will land on the podium? So you got 3 options here. First, second, third. Pick a driver you think will just be in one of those spots. And the last question this week is, which team will have the worst starting position come Sunday with like their combined drivers? So say they have a driver in 5th and 17th, and then another team has a driver in 4th and 16th. That first team will have a worse starting position overall. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know. Probably pick Williams is what I would probably do, or probably Williams or no, AlphaTauri. They're really bad too. Pick one of those 2 teams. You probably will be in business. So let's look at what the Bones Challenge standings are overall. I'll just show you guys right now. There's 2 teams that are tied for first with 3 points overall. We have No Mikey No, who is also 5th overall in just the regular fantasy league. And we have the Big, the Bad, the Highway to Hell tied for first with 3 points overall. Then we have, looks like 6 teams that are tied for second. We have Chelsea Supreme with 2 points, Washington F1 team with 2 points, No Stoppin' Me 2.0, 2 points. Where's Danny Ricks? 2 points. I'll change this later, 2 points. And The Day, El Dia, with 2 points. 4 teams right now have not gotten one right yet. That is, I Gotta Call Gene, Sebastian Vettel's Year Off, Chad Stones, and yours truly, Bones Racing LLC. Those 4 teams have yet to get a Bones Challenge point right out of 9 tries so far. So we'll see what happens. That's all we got for the recap. It's not a recap. It's really a preview. That's all we got for the preview. This should be an exciting sprint weekend. Excited about it. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.